Yo, JD here, and we are here for WOR Racing League, and I stream this every single Monday at 8 PM, so thank you so much for everyone who tuned into this race live last night. I really do appreciate it. It was absolutely insane once again. And I decided to do a highlights package of each of these races as well, like I do with IOR. The quality will not be in 1080 60 frames per second because I was streaming it, but I do plan to stream in 60 frames per second very soon. Hopefully next stream on tomorrow, or if not Monday. But we're in the Renault here at Monza, a track that I've done recently in IOR, which didn't go too well for me there. But in this one you can see it did an 18.7, but we actually had to restart the lobby because a lot of people couldn't connect. They had the default setup glitch, and that was pretty annoying because I was on course for starting the top 4 there. But we restarted the lobby, corner cutted my first lap, and then coming onto here again now. Having quite a decent first sector here, and we'll be able to see what happens in just a few seconds time. But just couldn't really get a lap in at all at this point, and running a bit wide there, but luckily didn't get anything happen there. And then just ran out wide, and yeah, we just couldn't hook up a lap, which is really annoying because I was really on form in the first session. And now this is my quickest lap I did in the qualifying session, and it wasn't a particularly great one. I just couldn't really hook it up in this session at all. But that's how it is sometimes. You just gotta deal with it. Everyone's on the same boat. Just gotta reset again, but just couldn't reset it for this one. But yeah, really enjoying this track though. Definitely learned a lot of things from the IOR race, which I did on Friday when I'm in the Red Bull. Tiro Martin, my teammate, who was unfortunately ill today, so I couldn't race with him. So I am solo in this party here, and yeah, bit annoying because it's good to have someone that can really motivate you and just a little bit of strategy. But the lap here, the first sector seems pretty good, but it's just really just a little bit cautious to my liking. And as you can see, just losing the back end coming up here, which definitely cost me a little bit of time. And coming up into Scari now, very difficult corner to nail. It's really want to be on the limits here. Got the entry pretty nice and the exit, so to be fair, it wasn't actually too bad here. And we actually get an unexpected slipstream from, I think, Ollie Smithson here. A little bit of a slipstream, but we did not know which way he was going to go at all. I decided to stay in the racing line, and luckily he moved last minute, so that was a little bit quite scary, to be honest. I wasn't expecting that. I didn't ask for a tow or anything at all, but we come across the line and it's a 19.0, and there's definitely a lot more time to make up, particularly for that second sector. And now this is my final lap, so this is all or nothing now. Absolutely just going for it because I'm down in P8. And this league is getting quicker and quicker by the week. It's absolutely insane, the competition in this league now. Coming through here, much better exit than I did on the previous lap. But we have another unexpected tow, and it's Smithson once again. And we're getting a very good tow here, but he doesn't move out of the way. And we've just lost our wing. And yeah, you can see by my reaction there, I wasn't happy about it at all. Going in slow motion. Considering a lap earlier he moved out of the way, I was kind of expecting to do the same thing. He wasn't on a lap, he was actually on a warm-up lap, I believe. And you can see here, just a few minutes earlier, the same thing pretty much happens. And the reason why I didn't move is because I really feel like I shouldn't have to move. He actually moved off the racing line then, and that's really what I was assuming again. But I don't really want you to go too hard on him because he apologised to me. I fully accepted his apology. Those things kind of happen. He was trying to do me a favour, but in future I think you should probably move off the racing line if you're not on the lap. But that really impacted me quite negatively because I actually didn't get a good lap in, and that means I actually start P9 in this race, and there's a lot of work to do now. I really want to get some good points here. So we've got 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. Crucial that we get a good start here. And looks like we actually got a fairly decent start. Definitely a better start than the Williams beside me and my teammate behind. So this is probably the best start I've had in quite a while. But you want to be cautious going into this race because you can lose it in turn 1. You certainly can't win a race in the first turn. Drive is lagging a little bit, so we're a little bit hesitant on the throttle. And that allows my teammate to actually get alongside me, the Bacon Yum. I think that's what his name is. So we've actually lost the position after initially getting a very good launch off the line. But we're going to decide to actually think about going down the inside, locking up almost. We actually do, in fact, actually hit Infamous Clays. And luckily, we didn't spin him round. And I don't know what happened to my teammate. I think he was probably quite scared that I dive bombed in there. But I really, since I qualified in P9, which I feel is out of no, I'm out of grid position in my opinion. I really needed to be quite aggressive here, really attack this first stint and make up as many positions as possible. So we maintained a position for now, as Infamous Clays is actually going down the inside of VSR Dralex. And now we'll go try and get a good run off here. Running 1.59 ballast, I believe, when I actually ran 1.89 ballast in the ILR race. So it's going to be much more slippery in a straight line. And you can see pretty quick in the straight line, thinking about going down the middle, but thinking a little bit better of it as Dralex actually outbrakes himself. And that should hopefully give the one position. He decides to come back on track, but he's not going to make it in time. So that's another position gained. And now we're behind Infamous Clay. So I can see just turning down the ERS. But we actually got a virtual safety car, which is the first time I've actually had, I think, in league racing on this game, in fact. Especially, yeah, in a league at least. So really got to stay within the delta, on the green delta on the top right hand side of the screen, which you can just about see there. But really just try and stay within that. Because if it goes red and the safety car thing finishes, you get an automatic penalty of 5 to 10 seconds or something. So it's really, really important. Safety car is actually ending now, but I'm not going to take any chances. Just making sure I still stay in the green. And now it's going now. I think we timed that pretty well. Haven't really lost any time. I think we actually gained a little bit of time in the cars ahead as well. So now I really need to get a move on because the leaders are not that far away from what you can see in the screen. I'm probably going to move my camera up a little bit. You can just see in the bottom left, they're just slightly ahead, so not really too far behind at all. And I know I've got good pace. The race pace was very, very strong around here in practice. It was definitely a lot quicker than it was in ILR. So I really wanted to get a move on. Felt I had a bit more pace than the guys ahead. When it comes to, obviously, when I get to Joe and people like that, it'll definitely be a challenge. But I think I had more pace than these guys. So I really need to get a move on. Get on the inside here. Going down the inside. Clays is definitely fighting this around the outside. He's not going to give me the position here. Make a little bit of contact, but we eventually just slip through. And now that's us into 7th place with VSR more so ahead. And now we really got to try and chase him down. Moving on to a few laps later now. Get my first warning of the race here. WOR Verstappen has actually crashed out from 2nd place or something. He did very well in qualifying. And KJ Gamer, I think he had a glitch where he just stopped dead on the curb. So that is 2 gifted positions, and that makes my life a little bit easier now. And we start to close in on VSR more so, more and more each lap. I definitely felt the pace was really good. Had Clays behind me, who was just hanging on just a little bit for the DRS. Everyone else is now pitted now, but I still felt my tyres were in pretty good condition. And from practice, I know that the undercut is not really that effective. It's actually better to try and go longer because going on the softs on a one-stop is definitely touch and go at the end. So I decided to go 1 lap longer because I knew I probably wouldn't lose that much time. As Clays actually follows me into the pits, who's a driver who's definitely got a lot of pace from previous races as well. So I know he's not very easy to shake off at all. Trying to not get held in the pits, and luckily we don't get held this time. Going on the softs where we have 1 lap fresher tyres could make quite a big difference at the end of this race. So I was feeling pretty positive. If I could get a podium from P9, I would have been really, really happy with that. And you can see more so hasn't really gained that much time. I'd say he maybe gained a couple of car lengths, but that is it. But we've got to warm up these tyres now, these soft tyres. And still, me even pitting this lap is definitely going to still be touch and go at the end. So I know I really just have to pace myself. And if I'm just consistent, hopefully their tyres will wear out and then I'm going to be a lot quicker at the end. But we actually started driving very, very well and actually caught up more so relatively quickly, not actually that long. Only like 5 or 6 laps after the pit stop, we actually managed to bring that gap down. And we're in P8 at the moment, but there's a few cars I haven't pitted. I think they're still on the medium tyre or even the soft tyre at the moment. So realistically, I think we're in a P5 at the moment. I think so. Yeah, I think we're in P5, more so P4. And now we're going to go for a move on more so, putting it into overtake and Rich. Don't think he's really going to fight this too much. You can see he's braking a little bit early, so I think he really wants to work together here. Hopefully, that's what I was really hoping he would do. And now we've gone into pretty much a net P4. Just doing a little bit of a squiggle there, just to really try and say to him, please don't overtake me. Please try and work together, because we've got VSR Pinecone up ahead, who's really in a P3 in this race, and it's 2.8 seconds to Pinecone. But at this point, if you watch back the stream, I felt I was feeling really, really good at this point, and now I'm starting to push very, very hard now. I think we're coming to the end of, well, it's just starting lap 20 now, and we brought the gap down from 2.8 to 1.4 seconds, so we're really, really quick at the moment, trying to put him under as much pressure as possible. But you can see the fuel in ERS, I haven't got much ERS at all. I was really just expending so much just to try and get in this DRS zone. That's really all I wanted. But you can see the fuel now, we're 0.1 of fuel. So we're really, really struggling. We can't afford to go and rich that much often at all. And the ERS as well. The ERS is really, really low here. So we're actually going to just try and save it as much as possible. More so as not going to overtake me here on this lap. But I was really thinking about actually just letting him pass to try and get onto the back of Pinecone. But DRS around here, it's just almost impossible to escape someone. I felt I had really, really good pace, more pace than both of these guys, but I just couldn't really expend it. So we're not really going to fight this too much at all. I haven't checked for penalties for Pinecone and car in front because I really didn't want to pause my game, because if you do that, you actually lose speed on the straight, and I really couldn't afford to do that when I was only catching him a tenth or 2 tenths a lap. So I asked Jeff if he had any penalties. He didn't say anything at all. Whenever I asked that, he never says any penalties or anything at all. So I decided to really just assume that he didn't have any penalties. So I really just let Morso go. But it's the last lap now, and looks like Pinecone is probably going to be out of reach. So now this is really a fight for P4, really hoping that the two ahead have penalties as we actually make a little bit of contact with Morso, because he broke quite early, or I probably broke a little bit late. I thought he was going to leave me just a little bit more room on that inside, but I just couldn't really stop the car, and I really didn't want to spin him out. So luckily both of us survived that, but that actually allows Pinecone to get away. But if he has a penalty, we're still in a fight for this podium, no doubt about it. So this really could be the fight for the podium. Squiggling the car here, but we do have a lap fresher tyres, so if my tyres are feeling bad, then I was really hoping that his tyres would feel bad as well. Coming off this corner now, trying to get a good exit here. Probably not close enough to make a move into this corner, but we've literally got no fuel left, so we've just got to use all our ERS, run lean in the corners, and then just see if we can do anything, as Pinecone has actually hit the wall. I think he had a puncture there, and his tyres are completely gone. So now this is the fight for P3, because I do not have a penalty, and I'm assuming Morso doesn't have a penalty, so this is the fight for P3 coming into the last corner now. He's going roughly around the middle of the track, darn to the inside. We actually make... I just don't even know what happened there. I went for just a really ambitious move there, and I think that was my fault completely. I saw some people in the stream say that was his fault, but I honestly think that was my fault. He did a good defensive move, a little bit too ambitious for me. I don't think I would have made the corner because I was carrying too much speed. Just a really quite a desperate attempt, but we actually finished P4 in that race, and a good recovery from P9, but I really, really wanted that podium, considering I felt we drove really, really well. But that's how racing goes sometimes. But thank you so much for everyone who watched the stream, and hopefully you enjoyed this. I'll be planning to stream in 1060 or 1080 60 frames per second next time. But thank you so much for this, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.